As Israel and Iran continue to bombard each other, all eyes are on the US and whether it will intervene in this conflict. Israel says one of its main goals is to destroy Iran's nuclear capabilities. Among those capabilities is Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear site in Fordow, which is buried deep inside a mountain. So far, looking at satellite imagery, we haven't been able to identify any damage to this site, even though Iran has said Israel had hit it. Israel's ambassador to the US has said that this entire operation really has to be completed with the elimination of Fordow. And there's only one conventional weapon that might be able to achieve this, and only the US is known to have this weapon. It's the GBU-57, a bunker buster bomb, which is a weapon that's designed to hit targets deep underground. They're dropped from the air and then act like a needle, piercing the ground. It's thought to be capable of penetrating 200 feet or 60 meters of concrete before exploding. And that's why whether or not the US intervenes in this conflict to help Israel is so key.
All right, so once again, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000. Lord willing, this lesson be edifying, straight to the point, and I will entitle this one. I'm not sure exactly how I will word it, but somewhere down the lines of the U.S. will get involved with all that's going on in the Middle East. The U.S. will be dragged into the Third World War. I'm not sure how I will entitle it, but it's all over the news. All right, all eyes is on, like, this woman reported all eyes is on the U.S., the king of Babylon. All right, Trump, aka Nero, and he's saying that he's claiming to not have made a decision. He doesn't know if he's going to get involved directly between the Israeli and Iran conflict. They've been carrying out airstrikes back and forth on one another. And this is prophecy. Events leading up to the Third World War, the war to end all wars, World War III. All right. So it's just a matter of time, before shit hits the fan and resulting in an all-out nuclear war, in which the prophets, the prophets and the fellow followers and believers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, those in the know, understand and know that before that can actually happen, the all-out nuclear war, before that actually happens, the prophecy of the MOTB, which is the micro CHIP, the implementation of the micro CHIP technology globally must come to pass. All right. And so we know, that's how we know how close we are to that prophecy unfolding or coming to pass, because things is very, very, very hot, and they're saying over there in the Middle East, and they're saying that it's very unlikely that things will de-escalate. All right. And so I've been, like I said, it's all over the news. One of the reports, right, on my other phone, matter of fact, hold on, let me see. Hold on, wait a second. Right. CNN, third U.S. aircraft carrier set to deploy close to Israel. Right. Another CNN report gauging the risks of U.S. strikes on Iran. And then Trump considering U.S. strikes on Iran nuclear sites. All right, so it's all over the news, and one of the reports, the headline read, the third U.S. aircraft carrier is set to deploy, to go over there and possibly help help Israel with what's going on with Iran. And they're claiming that Iran, they want to put a stop to Iran having nuclear program, nuclear capabilities. And Trump saying basically he's fed up. He gave them their time to make a deal. And he's fed up. And so more than likely, what is being speculated to happen, which is the U.S. getting involved, because it's essential in order for them to destroy, that nuclear site. Like I just brought out in this BBC News article. Matter of fact, I'll read it from it. It says, the Fordo nuclear site is buried deep inside a mountain and is one of Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear capabilities. Israel says one of its main goals is to destroy sites like this one, but there's only one weapon known to be able to destroy it, and only the U.S. is known to have it, and only I think they said the B-2 stealth bombers can carry, that weapon that the U.S. also has, that can, which they said it may take multiple airstrikes of that specific type of bomb to take out that nuclear site. Okay, and so with America backing Israel, and both America and Israel is heavily worried about, heavily concerned about this nuclear site, and they want to get rid of it. So more than likely it's going to happen. However it goes, it's according to, it's biblical prophecy for America to be involved in what's going on over there between Israel and Iran, and for Russia to get involved, and through the conflicts between Israel and Iran, America and Russia will wind up getting into it. So right, U.S. reportedly evacuating some diplomats from Israel amid Iran conflict. U.S. starts evacuating some diplomats from its embassy in Israel as Iran conflict intensifies. Right, and so why do this if you're not sure? Because Trump been playing this game with Putin, and Putin basically been playing Trump out, and so Trump is frustrated, with everything, and he knows that Russia is because, hold on, matter of fact, this is from Reuters, right? June 18th, updated put up June 18th, which today is what? Oh, earlier. Matter of fact, June 18th, 9:33 a.m. Russia tells U.S. not to strike Iran, warns of nuclear catastrophe. All right, so I'll just read a little bit of this. It says Russia is telling the United States not to strike Iran because it would radically destabilize the Middle East. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said on Wednesday, and Moscow said Israeli strikes risk triggering a nuclear catastrophe. Russia signed a strategic partnership with Iran in January and also has a relationship with Israel, although it has been strained by Moscow's war in Ukraine. A Russian offer to mediate in the Israel-Iran conflict has not been taken up. So, why hasn't this offer from Putin to mediate between what's going on with Israel and Iran, why hasn't that offer been taken up? Because ultimately, Israel and America is one and the same. And so while Trump being frustrated with, Putin saying, they're going to work out a deal with Ukraine, ceasefire, and then, basically playing them and bombing the shit out of Ukraine anyway. All right. More than likely, Trump is tired of playing, with Putin at his game. And so, knowing that Russia is backing Iran, they got, deals with each other. Trump don't really want to hear nothing from Putin, and he basically he's basically trying to show muscle. He just had the army, the military parade on his birthday. All right. And so Trump, he's trying to flex. He's trying to show his muscle. He's trying to meet Putin's fire with fire. All right. And regardless of the warnings, okay, and so he's basically playing Putin at his own game. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I may or may not. But we definitely know that Israel and America is heavily concerned with Iran's nuclear capabilities, and more than likely they're gonna wind up, America's gonna wind up taking out that nuclear site. But regardless of how it goes, Russia, America, Israel, and Iran are key players in prophecy leading up to the end of the world, which is going to happen which is not the destruction of the whole earth, but the whole United States, parts of Russia, all right, various places, various parts across the four corners of the earth, causing the nation of so-called white man to no longer be in a position of ruling the earth. This can't be stopped. No matter how things play out, it's gonna happen. All right, and it's gonna happen sooner than later because of the damage that's already been done, the shots that have already been fired. It says I think that was enough. You could read the rest of this for yourself. What else I wanted to bring out? Netanyahu, right? Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu warns Americans of incoming attack. Today is Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York. All right, so the scriptures is on point, as far as predicting what is going to happen in these last days. And the prophets, the men of the Lord, beginning with the apostles, bishops, and others of Great Millstone, have been bringing this out, have been speaking of these things, and it's happening exactly how they've been warning for decades. So all we waiting for is the micro C-hip, which will bring about a famine of the word, which will the time of Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. All right, once that prophecy unfolds, then it's just any day now Yahweh Shah could be making his second return. The all-out nuclear war could take place. Very exciting times. All right, and this is what the elect, the men of the Lord, the hopeful elect are waiting for. So this is Joel chapter 3. Verse 1 says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem," which this is what's happening when you see the Hebrew Israelites out in your major downtown areas, all right, prophesying on the street corners. All right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians waking up to the realization that their true identity belongs to the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, this is prophecy unfolding right before your eyes. The nation of Israel waking up. The Lord is putting that spirit on us. Verse 2, I will also, right? So these things are going to happen at the same time. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of the Lord's decision, which is over there in the Middle East, the Levant. It says, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, right? Because you have the small hats, the 48ers over there inhabiting the land right now, the imposters, all right, the people who are not the true people of that land, and it's time for them to get kicked the fuck out. All right, I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And is not Israel parted between those small hats and the Palestinians? Yes, it is. All right, and the true people of that land are actually everywhere except for that land, scattered across the four corners of the earth. The bulk of them being in America, which is known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures. Jumping down. Verse 7, behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, right across the four corners of the earth, primarily here in America, Babylon the Great. The Lord is waking up the nation of Israel out of the same places where they have been sold for slaves, and will return your recompense upon your own head. The Lord, these heathen nations has a bill that must be paid for the atrocities, the selling of our people as slaves, all right, by these heathen nations, beginning with the nation of so-called white man, Salakia. Had to text somebody back. Right. So the ultimate payback is the thermonuclear destruction. All right, and the remnant of these heathen nations, beginning with the nation of so-called white man, the biblical Edomites, being forced to go into slavery, for hardcore slavery for 1,000 years. You know, all you know, them being destroyed, them brought out of power, and being forced to clean up the aftermath of the nuclear destruction. All right, and build up the kingdom of heaven on earth is all a part of and everything that comes along with that. You know, it's going to be a rough, bloody 1,000 years full of suffering for these heathen nations, especially Edom, the Edomites. Verse 8: I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far, far off, for the Lord have spoken it. Right? We're going to trade. We're going to sell your sons and your daughters. All right. Not only the nation of so-called white men, but all these heathen nations, as they did with our people. Verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Where? Over there in the Middle East. All right, and this is actually happening. Beat your plowshares into swords, farming instruments into instruments of war, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right? And these nations that were once known for peace, all right, and farming, are now they now are possess they're now prepared for war. You know, their back has been put against the wall, and they some of these nations now have nuclear capabilities, and they are allies to stronger nations with military might, such as Russia, and China. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. So the Lord is gathering the armies of all these nations that are in power. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Right? The Lord set a line that set a point in which, a time in which he will put an end to all the wickedness, all the sins of the earth. And we're drawing closer and closer to that deadline, to that line, to that boundary that the Lord has set. All right, and that judgment is about to be let loose. Verse 14. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. That's it. Matter of fact, it says the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Right? Because all of the missiles going to be causing so much destruction. The mushroom clouds, the smoke is going to be covering the skies. And at the same time, you're going to have the innumerable multitude of the chariots, the vehicles in which the angels traveling, the transportation of salvation, which the world English calls UFOs or UAPs. Covering the skies and shooting laser beams, concentrated fire, to add to the thermonuclear destruction. All right, it's going to be a sight to see, a very fearful and exciting time. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. There's going to be so much destruction going on that the earth is going to shake to and fro like a drunkard. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, right? Because you would, contrary to popular belief, the whole earth is not going to be destroyed. There is hope of being saved, of being safe from all of this destruction that's about to happen, but it's only specifically for the elect of the nation of Israel, the 1/3 beginning with the 144,000. And then you are going to have heathens that are going to survive the great destruction. All right, but that's only for the purpose of them being gathered for that 1,000 years of slavery. All right, and the only way they're going to survive is if they're not in America. They're away from where the thermonuclear missiles hit. They're going to be affected one way or another, but you are going to have survivors. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, right? Yahweh Shai with the innumerable chariots of God, the spaceships are going to beam up and physically save the elect of the nation of Israel. And that's the hope that the elect believing, are waiting for, looking forward to. Verse 17, so shall ye know that I am the Lord, your power, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain representing government. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. All right, because you have heathens, nations that do not belong to the nation of Israel, all right, in the land right now. All right, and all types of nations, go over there for vacation and visiting. It's a tourist attraction. It's the place of the people of the Bible, God's chosen people, the place where who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, dwelt, walked, was crucified. All right, and so nations from all across the four corners of the earth are attracted to that place. All right, for entertainment, and not to but it's the will of the Heavenly Father to destroy the people out of that land, all right, before replacing the true people of that land back in there. Before Yahweh Shai claims the land and the earth back in rules in the kingdom of heaven, which will be on earth. This is Jeremiah chapter 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. All right, that people that come from the north is the so-called Russians. All right, and a great nation, because it says, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth, right? So because Russia is going to have allies join unto them. You know, they are you see they got the BRICS, you know, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, and other countries join unto them, you know, as means of defying America as being the world's superpower, financially, all right, and as far as the military goes, military might. It says they shall hold the bow and the lance. All right. Now, you know, a bow is something that you shoot an arrow out of. In the scriptures, the arrows being shot from one end of the earth to the other is known, has been identified as the thermonuclear missiles. All right. And the bows are the silos in which the missiles are shot out of. It says they shall hold the bow, meaning they're going to have nuclear capabilities, and the lance. Right now, when you get into the lance, the word there is Kidan. All right, and it says javelin, short sword, dart. All right, so you know that's a javelin. You know, when you know it's something pointy, that resembles or I'm gonna say nuclear missiles resemble javelins. All right, and a short sword, the ultimate sword is the thermonuclear missiles, a dart. All right, all of these things, you know, just like arrows can be are referring to the thermonuclear missiles. The root word here, right? It says which is key. It says ruin, destruction. In the Hebrew lexicon, Chaldee lexicon, it says a dart, javelin. The etymology is uncertain, not unaptly derives it from destruction, war, so that it would be a weapon of war. Compare sword. In the sense of invading, breaking in, right? A place near Jerusalem. That's enough on that. All right, and so this country that would come from the north, you know, along with their allies, it says they shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea. All right, and when you know, one of the models of Iran is DTA, you know, death to the US, you know, basically. That's their motto, and they you know, they chant it. You know, they come together. So many of them, you know, it's like it said the voice shall roar like the sea. That right? All those voices being in one sync, all right? In anger and hatred for Babylon the Great. It says, and they shall ride upon horses. And they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. All right, so these nations assembled with that the people of the north, which is Russia, all right, such as Iran, all right, are coming together against, you know, basically because it's the Lord's will to totally destroy Babylon the Great, which is America. You know, America being the headquarters of the nation of so-called white man, Esau, Edom, the devil in the flesh, who the earth has been given into the hands of for a short period of time, in which that time is running out. Verse 43, it says, the king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. All right. And so before Trump came into office, you had these Middle East tensions escalating. All right. And the spirit that came on, the spirit that was on Biden, he was trying his best to prevent things from escalating, from getting involved. All right. Israel been had their eyes, been making threats, been wanting to get at Iran, but under Putin, Putin was the Lord put the spirit on him to he was falling all over the place. He was mentally and physically incapable of showing strength, but this devil Trump is in a total different spirit. All right. And it's because of what? Ultimately, right? It's because of where the world is leading. The decisions that the American leadership has to make. All right, as the superpower on the face of the earth, being threatened. The king of Babylon have heard the report of them. Heard of the, they know about the nuclear capabilities. They see how Russia is how these other nations are being backed by Russia. All right, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. So Trump, he nervous. He's scared too, but he's trying to save face. He's trying to show strength. Jeremiah 50:44, it says, behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. Right? How does a lion present himself? As being bold. All right, being strong, being fearless. All right, and that's the spirit that Trump is in. Now. All right. Boldly making threats and making decisions that look like it's going to lead to him boldly being involved directly between what's going on with Israel and Iran, which is over there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the Middle East, the Levant. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? So the reason why, what's the reason for Trump getting involved and going over there in the Middle East is to defend Israel. But the Lord is it's the Lord's will to destroy, destroy the people that are in the land now out of the land. All right, and so Trump, the U.S. coming to Israel's aid is only going to wind up backfiring on them. All right, because it's time for Yahushua to return. All right, and return for the defense of the true people of that land. All right, and the people that are in the land have to get the fuck out, man. Their time is up. It says, but I will make them suddenly run away from her, and who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her. right? Which is none other than Yahweh Shai. For who is like me, and who will I point me the time, and who is the shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he have taken against Babylon and his purposes, that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. All right. So the same way the Lord has it out for America, Babylon the Great, is the same way that America has it out for, that the Lord has it out for the land of Israel, to destroy the people out of the land, and to cleanse it before the true people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the true 12 tribes of Israel, can reclaim it. Verse 46, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved and the cry is heard among the nations. All right. That great thermonuclear destruction is going to cause which is primarily to destroy America, Babylon the Great, is going to cause the whole earth to move. And these nations that I've been benefiting off of America to be very distressed, very, very sad, very disappointed, because they're coming out of power as well. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, against America, which is known as Babylon the Great. And the Medes is the so-called Russians. All right. It says, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye shall not spare children. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, right? The Chaldeans were the elites, the wise men of ancient Babylon, all right? And the elites is the top banking families, all right? The top banking families of the earth, all right, as well as the politicians, all right. As in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, right? America is identified as Babylon the Great because America is the place where all nations want to be, for so-called equal rights, for a slice of the American pie, to be a part of the American dream, to benefit financially from America, all right, and to have a good time. America is the city of all, the city of all nations, if you will. All right, the place where you come to make the best business deals and have the some of the best parties. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, right? Because once America is totally destroyed by thermonuclear fire, then it will, once the fire burn out, after a long time, there will be nothing left here but a desert and desert-like creatures. Ezekiel 38. Prophecy about Gog and future invasion of Israel, which the Medes, Gog, and the land of Gog and Magog is code name in these last days for the Russians. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, because a lot of the land of Russia is going to be destroyed as well. All right, the Lord is using the Russians, which are basically Edomites as well. All right, to step up as the opposition to the superpower on the eastern hemisphere of the earth, to come up against their brothers, the Edomites, the Americans, the so-called Americans, Babylon the Great, the superpower on the western hemisphere. You know, they're going to use Satan to take out Satan. All right, and in the middle of that, Yahushua is going to return and prevail against all these nations that are going to be involved in an all-out Royal Rumble. All right, in these last days. And it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Right? So the Lord said he was going to put the spirit on, which he did. You know, that's prophecy fulfilled. He was going to put the spirit of that USSR, Soviet Union, Soviet Union spirit back on the people that is dwelling in the land that is now called Russia. All right, and cause them to, you know, lock horns to go toe to toe, be prepared to go toe to toe with America, Babylon the Great. Because, you know, you had the Cold War, you had a time where tensions was very thick between America and Soviet Union, USSR, and then things died down. But then under Putin, you know, things got heated up again between America and Russia, and it's not going to turn back again. You know, these escalations will lead up to all-out nuclear war, World War III. Ezekiel 38:5. Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmet. Gomer, which is Turkey, and all his bands, the house of Togomar and of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. All right, and so these are key figures, you know, and how we know that all hell is about to break loose pretty soon. You know, we're just waiting for the prophecy of the MOTB to come to pass. Verse 7 says, Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself. Against who? Prepare against who? Against America and Israel, and ultimately the Lord, because the Lord is the one who's orchestrating, you know, these armies of the world to make the decisions that they're making. It says, Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. All right, and so the least of the flock being the small hats, the 1948ers, is leading America into getting involved in what's going on between Israel and Iran. All right, which Iran is Persia. Russia backing up, being a big brother to Iran, is just inevitable. It's just a matter of time before America and Russia is at it. Verse 8, After many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, which that's talking about the land of Israel, you know, because Israel was destroyed All right, the true people of that land, you know, were ran out of that land. The 12 tribes of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right, under the Romans. All right, 70 AD. All right, and until America set up those rats, those small hats, to be the imposters of the true people of that land, and pertaining to the Holocaust. All right, that land really wasn't inhabited, really wasn't prosperous. It's really still not prosperous to this day, but it was brought back from the sword because World War II, the events of World War II led up to those small hats dwelling in the land. After many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, see, which have always been waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. All right. Thus saith the Lord. So eventually, what's happening is going to lead to Russia and their allies to go at it, and to invade Israel. All right, to carry out missile strikes and destroy Israel. It says, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, because Russia and all, compared to Israel is huge. And Russia with all of their allies, and without America, Israel ain't shit. Even now with everything that's going on between Israel and Iran, without America's weapons, again, the only way that Israel could take out Iran's that nuclear site that they got their eyes set on, they need America to intervene, with the B-2 bombers and those specific missiles that I showed in the beginning of this video. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, which is what? To bomb the shit out of America. All right. So that's it on that. All right. I think I drew the point. This is inevitable things that will happen and can't be stopped from happening. You can't stop these prophecies from unfolding. All right. And so no matter how long it takes, it's going to be sooner than later, that America is going to get involved with everything that's going on over there in the